Once upon a time, I owned the T10, T20, which I absolutely loved. Traveled a lot with the T30. I think I used the Mark II. I'm not entirely sure now. I definitely traveled with the T50, which isn't in the same bracket as this T30 III. Will the XC13 to 33 catch me? So yeah, we thought we'd give this a little bash. It doesn't have IBIS, it has a 26 megapixel sensor, but it does have the X processor 5. Is that enough compromise? I know what I prefer and I know what I own, but this could be interesting, so let's find out. Right, there she is. Business as usual if you're used to the T10, T20, T30 range. It's been a while since I've used those, and this just feels really dinky. Think it feels good quality. Love this color. I usually go for the all black, even though the silvers are pretty cool, but this is a compromise that I can get with, although my black tape wouldn't quite work the same on there. I'd have to find some matching tape. Anyway, pretty cool, whatever. 26.1 megapixel backside illuminated X trans CMOS 4 sensor, but what's new is the X processor 5, which helps with the latest subject detection. Also, there is a film simulation dial on the top. We've got the ISO, the compensation, we've got the auto there. This one has the flash, which will pop out probably, there we go, pop out like that. So that is pretty cool. Straight back in, dial on the front, the usual, except on the side we have a 2.5mm jack, so I've got to make sure I've got that adapter handy. I have found it because I needed it for the intro. USB-C and micro HDMI. Nothing on this side because on the bottom we have the SD card slot and the 126 battery, so all bits and pieces that we're pretty au fait with. We've got 6.2, let's get this over to movie mode, 6.2K 30p, maximum 420. Of course you're going to see a crop, 1.23 crop I believe. Let me get this just to 4K 16:9 30 frames per second, that's what I want. No IBIS, this only. Weighs 383 grams with the battery and the SD card, so a dinky little thing. And of course it comes with the 13 to 33, which is what I'm mainly testing it on, and I think that as is a pretty nice, pretty cool looking combo. Yours probably won't have a Fujifilm UV protector on it, but there we go. What do you reckon? Kind of nice, but how does it fare? Over 2,000 test shots later, how do I feel about the build and the handling? Well, as you can imagine, there's a lot I like about this camera, and yeah, a few things I don't, but there's no huge surprises. I do like how the camera feels in my hand, and the buttons, the dials are easy to work with. For me, the screen is the best choice for the camera, and it's very nice to use out and about. If anything, I wouldn't have minded the vertical tilt too. I'm not a fan of the 2.5mm mic jack, and be careful when you're taking the SD card out, as it can really go flying, which isn't ideal if you're out and about. Now, I appreciate the concept and the execution of the film simulation dial, but out and about, I found I knocked it out of place a little too easily, and I'd love what I think is a simple option to use it for someone else. What about, for example, adjusting the aperture or the shutter? Now, on the plus side, it's much easier to work with custom film sims, so if you're into that, then you'll be happy. Overall then, I love the build and the handling. So what about the other bits and pieces, the image quality and the like? The image quality you can get from this camera, well, it's well documented, as it's the same sensor going right back to the T3. So without boring you, the potential from this sensor is excellent, more than excellent, with the right lens. In fact, ISO performance up to 6400, not bad too. Now, autofocus and subject detection performance is where you might see some difference from the previous models. It's pretty good for Fujifilm, and as a travel camera, it performs well with the XC30 III kit lens. There's still a long way to go for Fujifilm, even with their higher end cameras, but this shoots well for the target audience, let's just say. It is a shame it doesn't have IBIS, and even the OIS of the XC30 III, it doesn't quite make up for it when shooting video clips, and that's in daylight. Other than the lack of IBIS, the video options are very nice, and I'd happily use this for any tripod-based video work that I need anyway. I'm still not happy with slow motion quality though. A quick note on battery life, because it is the older battery, 0 issues, 1 battery charge per day out, way past the CEPA rating, almost double in fact, and that's shooting in 30 Celsius plus weather with a little bit of image reviewing, chimping if you like, transferring and so on. So yeah, no worries. Overall, this is a relatively powerful bit of kit in a small, lightweight, I'd say well-built body. But is it worth the retail price of £829? Well, evidently entry level is no longer cheap. But what are we thinking? Yes and no. Get your hands on it and let us know what you think, if it feels good for you. For some, it might be too small, too fiddly. For others, almost just right in the hands. As you can guess, overall, I enjoyed the camera. I missed IBIS when shooting video clips, and I wish we could use the film dial sim for something else like aperture or shutter maybe. I still prefer the more expensive T50 by a long shot, but this is for those who can't quite stretch to $12.99 and don't need IBIS or the 40 megapixel sensor. Does it stand up to the similarly priced Nikon Z50 II, or the Canon R50, or even the Sony a6400? Well, that's a question for another day, but if you have any thoughts, let us know. For me, Fujifilm cameras still just feel right in my hands and for my needs. And while other cameras might be more powerful now, the best camera to travel with is the one that inspires you the most. And I reckon as a sub £1,000 camera in 2026, this comes close.